Yo, quick update. So I made this video like fucking 8 days ago. You know, I'm just fucking lazy, all right? Nah, I just been doing some shit. So I'm a little late on this video, but I'm currently getting my tune from Ron Watson. I'm on revision number 8, which is my first E65 base map. So I haven't done it yet. I haven't put ethanol in the tank because I still have like half a tank of 91. So I got to burn through some of that first before I can fill it up with ethanol. But anyways, that's going to be the next video. My first reaction on E65 third gear pull. So that'll be a good one. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, just quick update. But yep, here's the install for this intake and shit that I did a long time ago. All right, fellas, it is day 2 working on the car. Hopefully everything will be done today so I can load the base map and start tuning the car. The roads, if you watch my previous video, were shit, but look at them now. See, bipolar ass weather, man. Completely covered in snow yesterday. Now it's hot as shit outside today. Well, it's not hot as shit, but you know what I'm saying. All right, but today we are going to do the last little bits, the intake. Grimmspeed intake. We are going to do the boost control solenoid. I got a new turbo inlet. This is a boost gauge. So I got this long 10-foot silicone hose that I'm going to route from the bypass valve. I'll probably come up this way, come over here, and then go through. If you watched my AFR gauge install, you'll know I threw this firewall over here. And then I'll go in the car and route up to my gauge pod, which will route up to there, bam. And I got the other pod that sits over here, bam. But first, let's get this shit started. We are going to first do this. Now, you can do everything on top of the car. You don't have to go under the car when installing this. But me, since I am going to be replacing my turbo inlet and adding this boost gauge, I have to go under the car. And to be honest, it is easier to access the worm clamp bolts under the car. But I mean, it's completely up to you. You know what I mean? You can do the intake completely above the car. First thing you want to do is you want to take your little shroud off, which are these two pop clips. Just pop those both off. This pulls off. Then in order to take the intake box off, you have these bolts right here. Bam, bam, bam. Then there's one down there. Bam. And then you pop these up, boom, boom. And then you could take your air filter off, and then you could take this side of your box off. All right, like I said, once you take that bolt off and the bolt that's in there off, and those pop clips, and take that shroud off, that whole assembly comes off. Take the filter out, and then just maneuver this out. To get the rest of it out is pretty easy. This is your MAF sensor. You're gonna have to unclip this, but you could take this whole assembly out as one. Now me, I have a front mount intercooler, so my hot side piping is in the way. So I have to go under the car. If you have a top mount, you have a charge pipe there, you probably have enough room to go under there and do it. You're going to have to move this fan out the way first, which are these two bolts, and then unclip it down there, right here, and then move your fan out the way, and then you can go down there and access it. But me, I'm gonna have to go under the car. I mean, I don't really have to. I could struggle and get it from the top, but because I have to come under here anyways and replace this, fuck it. But this is that clamp you're gonna take off, this worm clamp that goes from your tubing to your turbo inlet, and then you can pull this whole piece out as one. All right, so I'm going to loosen this up, then I'm going to unclip my MAF sensor, and then I'm gonna pull this box and piping all out as one. So I have it unclipped from the bottom. I have the worm clamp taken off right there, and it off the turbo inlet. There's one more bolt you have to take off right there. Now I'm gonna take off my MAF sensor, pull it out, which I need to clean this. Anyways, Ron Watson says you got to, and that one. But anyways, now I can pull this whole thing out as one. I'm gonna need 2 hands to do it though, so yeah. Voila. All right. So we're not gonna need that no more. We are gonna need our MAF sensor though. So take this off, which are those 2 Phillips screwdrivers, and don't fuck it up. Put it somewhere safe. I actually have some mass airflow cleaner, so I'm going to clean those sensors in there. Put it somewhere and let it dry. All right, so now it's time to do this. All right, so you're gonna have three of these, three different lanes: long, medium, and small. The small one's obviously gonna go in the middle. The long one is gonna go above the Grimmspeed logo, so like this. And then the medium one is gonna go below the Grimmspeed logo, like this. So there we go. I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of suck because it's such tight corners and such a tight snug fit. All right, so once you got all that on, we're gonna work on this. So we get our math sensor, which is nice and dry now. I hate pizza. They supply us with hardware. Bam, these two. So this is directional, so you can't put it in the wrong way. I mean, you can't put it in the wrong way, but the holes don't line up. So, boom, put it in the right way. Bolt them down with this. These are Allen wrenches. All right, once you get that tightened down, we're gonna get our filter. We're gonna put it on this end, and make sure it's straight when you put it all the way on. And then we'll clamp it in. And after we clamp it in, you want to mark where your filter is. So when you ever change or clean your filter, you put it back in the exact same spot. All right, once you get your filter on, make sure it's pretty straight. I'm going to, like I said, mark it all the way around. I'll probably just use the Sharpie and mark all the way around. But then also put that side on. I didn't clamp it down, I just put it on. And then we're going to feed it back down just like you took the old one out. All right, so once you get it in there, it's just sitting down in there. Like I said, I had to go under the car to do it. But they supply the washer that was in there. And you're gonna reuse that stock nut. And you're gonna bolt it up to that. So you see, I have to go higher. I have to get that, line it up, and then bolt it up. But because I am replacing my turbo inlet, I have some more shit that I have to do before I can finish my intake. So we are gonna get back to that. So I'm taking the turbo inlet off. Got to do the boost control solenoid. So for you guys that are doing that, in order to get this inlet off, what we're gonna do is, you have two bolts to the turbo. One right here, one directly on the other side. Take those two bolts out. We're gonna unclip this, just push this in and pop the white tab up. I can't do it with one hand, but yeah, push this in, pop the white tab up so this hose comes off. Like that. Take this clip off, which is just squeeze under here with a Phillips. Push up on that and go get all that out. Then behind there, if you can see, where am I? That is why I got a new turbo inlet. So when I did my bypass valve, I was reading Mishimoto's instructions, or looking at Mishimoto's instructions, and they said to cut your turbo inlet right here like 1/4 of an inch down. So what I did on the one that's on the car right now is I cut about 1/4 of an inch off. But with the LF bypass valve, you don't need to do that, but it was too late. So that's why it looks like that. You can see that bypass valve sticking up out of that inlet. So now that's why I got the new inlet, just because of that. So I'll show you a comparison once I take this off. But yeah, you got this off, 2 bolts. Got this locking clamp to the bypass valve. Take that off. There's a whole assembly will come off, but we got to do some hoses. But let me get that far first. All right, now you see it hanging there. So those 2 bolts that bolt into the turbo, right there. Bam. This was up in the bypass valve. Bam. So you get that clamp, move it all the way down. Once you unbolt it from the turbo, you can pull this down and then take it out. These 2 lines, this was this line that we took out with the clip, and then this line is just right here, a vacuum line. And now we're gonna unclip it here, and then we're gonna take this hose off so we can take this and put it to the table. All right, now that we got it out, we're gonna want to take this off. Just 2 Phillips. Take that off, and then we'll put our new one on. This one comes pre-installed. Bam. It will sit in there like this. Boom. So take that one off and put this one on. But yeah, anyway, see, that's how you do it, right? I didn't need to do that because I got a new one, but essentially that's what you'll do. Take this off, get the new one, and put that in there. So I'll add this to my OEM collection, but I'll show you first. See the difference in length? That's why I cut that much off, dummy. I am going to reuse this locking clamp though. Put my clamp back on there. Boom. So you get your solenoid. Now we'll bolt this in just like this. I mean, it can only really go one way. You'll see how to do it. Line it up and then use supplied bolts and screw them in. And bam. Alright, fellas, so once you got it in there, oh, there it is. Now let me show you something, what it looks like with it out of the car. So if you have an 18 plus, ours are, or maybe even a 17 plus, our cars are a little different, but so this is what it looks like, right? Let me get some. So these are the lines that we're going to take off. This one right here on the bottom of your turbo, you have 2 of them, but we're going to take this one off. This is a PSI, boost pressure. And then if you follow that line, it tees off right here. Your restrictor pill was in this middle one. If you did a stage 2 downpipe, you knew to take that restrictor pill out. And then this goes to your boost controller, right here. And then follow it, the T goes to your wastegate. So wastegate, boost, and this goes to your boost controller solenoid. So we're gonna take all this off because we no longer need it. And then on the new one, one of those ports will go to boost, and then one of those ports will go to wastegate. And I'll show you that when we get there. But I am also going to put my boost pressure gauge in, aftermarket one. So the line that's coming out of here, I will cut in half and tee it off and use that red hose for boost pressure to a separate gauge. All right, so I took it all out. I took this out and I took this off. I'll show you why. But yeah, there it is. So I took that white piece off this hose. Wastegate, boost. I'm actually going to use this T-fitting because, like I said, I need to tap into the boost, which was this line. This went to wastegate. This went to the solenoid. But they supply you with lines, obviously. So the line that goes to boost, I'm going to cut in half. Use this T, or actually, I don't even have to cut in half. I can just take these 2 off. Use this T. Use their supply line. Fish it from that end to the solenoid, and then use the other T for this. If that makes any sense. Once again, I'm running boost, a separate boost pressure gauge, so I need this T fitting. So I'm gonna take these 2 lines off. This goes to wastegate, this goes to the solenoid. And then I'm gonna use a supply line, or maybe even their line, and tap this end of the T goes to the solenoid, and then the other end will run all the way to my aftermarket boost gauge. But I gotta see how big these fittings in are, because if you look at the lines, mine is thicker. So we'll see if it fits. But yeah, let me do all that and I'll show you. But I took this off because I wanted to test it, because I know people say they struggle getting this on, but I was able to get this on. I mean, it's a tight fit, but it does go on, so I don't have to do any of adjustments or anything like that. But I just wanted to see. So when I do bolt it up to the turbo and get it all in there, I'll just put this on and then hook this end up to the hose. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to see. So yeah. So let me go ahead and start running some of these wires, and then I'll show you what I mean. All right, so this is how I did it. This is what I mean. So boost is going to be port 3. This is port 1, which is already connected. Port 3 is this middle one. It says it under it. You'll see it right there, port 3, which is boost, and port 2 is wastegate. So this is going to be my boost line. So boost, I'll show you once we get down there. Goes to the turbo. Then this will come up to port 3, and then this will route all the way up, and that's going to go to my aftermarket boost gauge. So this is how it looks like. I wanted to reuse this one because of the clamp, but the hose that Grimmspeed supplies is smaller. ID is the same, but the OD is smaller. So this clamp doesn't work on there, so we have to use a zip tie. But we need the smaller one because the smaller one works better on here. This one's too big, it just slides in and off. So I'd rather have it tight than loose, so we got to use this one. So I'm gonna zip tie this, and then that goes there, and then we'll route this wire up. But I just wanted to show you outside the car how it's pretty much gonna look. I'd rather do all of this while I have the space to do it, you know what I mean? So once again, boost, wastegate. So on your stock solenoid, boost and wastegate was connected to the same one that was teed off that went to your solenoid. Now 3-port, they have separate ports. So one port, middle one, goes to the bottom one. The right side one, port 2, goes to wastegate. They're just ported separately versus being teed off like the stock one. So yep, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm going to, so essentially this goes back onto here, so I might as well do that now. I need to route this up. Actually, I can do that a little bit later once I have actually everything on, so because I don't know how I'm gonna route it yet. But it should go on this side like this. Yeah. And then this one will obviously come up and go to the solenoid, middle port, port 3, and we'll cut it to length. And then we got with the rest of this hose, we got to go from this one. We'll use that, go in there, and then the other end will go into port 2. So now that I have this on, once I put this back on, now we can put the turbo inlet back up there. 2 bolts, and then it goes in here. Make sure you have your clamp on there. But let me go ahead and let me see if I can get it on recording. I like to use shit that they gave me. So, I mean, we still have this sleeve. So I wonder if I can reuse it somewhere. Gotta do this now. Put this on. And then start these bolts. Always start them hand tight. They should go all the way down with your hands. If not, you're gonna cross thread them, and that's going to be no bueno. probably the most important part of these bolts to these turbos, man. If it's going to the turbo, be fucking careful. This one I'm gonna have to use. All right, so I got it on, just got it snug. Remember, we always got to go to torque specs, so I got to look up the torque specs because I forgot and torque those down to spec. But before I do that, I want to see how much line I have. So this one, remember, this is boost. Boost is middle, port 3. So looks like I'm going to go over. And this will come out this way like this. So I just twisted the hose because I want this to route this way and then go up. And there was like a little twist in the hose, and now there's not. So that's all I did. But yeah. Remember, this will plug up to this, and then it can only go on one way, and then we'll zip tie the stuff. But let me see first. Let's do this hose, which we only need. I always like to have a little bit of slack. And then, oh yeah, it's a smaller hose. We're gonna zip tie it. So remember, boost. So this goes in the middle. Stick it all the way on. Get a zip tie. Zip tie it. Test it. Yep, it's nice and good. That's zip tied. Test. All right, everything's good. So boost is done. Boost up to here. Obviously, you'll just have the one line, but since I'm running a separate boost gauge, so if you want to do that also, because I guess this will be boost gauge tutorial also. This is where you tap it. You can tap it down here, the bottom of the turbo on the left side. Tap that line, tee it off, and then that's how you'll run your boost gauge. Right, that's how you feed vacuum to your boost gauge. Yep, so now that's done. Now we got to do the wastegate. So the hose that we just cut off, go to the wastegate, which you know where it's at because I showed you like 4 times. It's a tight fit. That's why I wish I did it when this was off, but I didn't know how much line I needed, so that's why. All right, so I got that all the way on. Actually, I don't like it. Hold on. See, I use this to try to squeeze it on there, and look what I did. I cut it. See? Always double check shit, so that's no good. I'd had a small boost leak just from that little thing. And it would have been so hard to find. So yep. my handy dandy contraption. I did that so I could squeeze that hose and slip it on without damaging the hose. Yeah, if you can, keep note, you don't need that much hose. Maybe like what is that, 6 inches of hose maybe? So cut your hose first. Cut your 6 inches of hose, and then so you can get your other side and you can put that on before you put your inlet back on. It just makes it easier. This one goes to port 2. It's right here. That's too much hose, so I'm gonna have to cut it. Or I can just go down here like this, I guess. I don't want all that hose though. Or I can route it a different way. There we go, boys. We finished. Well, we ain't finished, but yeah. Now this plugs into here. But before I do that, I'm going to get this on. So this clips in, remember? My hot side piping. This hose has to go around it, so it really makes it a tight fit. Alright, so we got boost coming up to port 3, which is middle port. Got my other line for my separate boost gauge. We got wastegate, which comes over here, which you guys know. Got it coming through the top between the bypass valve and the charge pipe. To port 2, got this back plugged in. This goes into this middle one. Yep, don't forget to lock that clamp into place, which I need to do. Got that in place. Got this in. Obviously, I'll zip tie all this stuff once I get my intake back in. But remember, we have to torque these down now. Yo, what's good? We in there, fellas. We in there. So check it. Update. This is what's happening right now. Got the inlet in. I'll show you. All right. So, all right, cool. Got the inlet in now. Focus. There we go. Everything plugged up. Boost teed off, clamped in. Everything's zip tied. All my vacuum lines zip tied. I got these torqued down. The torque spec was 12.8 foot-pounds. So no, 11.8 foot-pounds. So I just torqued them down to 11. Got this back in, bypass valve. So everything's hooked up. Got this hooked up. This goes to my fan. So yeah. But now that all this is buttoned up and good, I went ahead and now we can finish the intake. So I got the intake hooked up to my turbo inlet now. I didn't tie them all the way down, but this is what I wanted to show you, this piece. So this came off of our airbox, our old one. It was right here. It's a spacer. So remember, in order to pull this whole assembly off, we had to take that one nut off. So this was still, was it in like this? No. So this was still in here like this, held on with the nut on this side. So you got to take this piece off because we're going to need it. And it looks like with this piece and that nut, essentially I think this piece will, you see the groove? There's a groove on here. So it will like sit in there like that, and then on the other side we'll put the nut on. So stick that in there, line this up, line your inner or your intake piping up, and then put that nut on. So I'm gonna do all that. This is why you triple check everything. So I got a new turbo inlet, remember? I also got it with the new gasket. My old gasket is still on the old inlet. My dumbass didn't even put the new gasket on. Yeah, so now I gotta take all that back off and put the gasket on. Triple check shit, man. Triple check everything. Catch shit like that. Good thing. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do all that again. All right, baby, all right. So I fixed my issue of me forgetting to put that damn gasket in. Got the gasket back in, the turbo inlet, everything buckled up. I'm fucking pretty fast, man. Like when I'm not recording and I'm able to just come down here and work, man, I can knock this shit out pretty quick. But yep, took all this back off, put it all back on. It only took me like 10 minutes maybe. Got that buttoned up, put this back on, got these clamped in. I don't have them super tight, just snug. Then on the other side, got it bolted up right there. So that piece that I showed you is fed it through the back and then just put the bolt in the front. So this is in there nice and good. I'm gonna tie these down now, or I'm gonna tighten these now, and then I'll show you how to put that on. All right, so now we got the intake in, it's bolted up, everything down there is bolted to the turbo inlet. Just trying to figure out how I'm gonna run this up. I don't know if I'm gonna come up through this way, which I probably will. I may feed it this way like that or something. It only needs to go to where that bundle is, because when we do our gauge, this wire is gonna go here, and this wire is gonna feed all the way through that firewall and come out of there where that bundle is. And then this sensor hooks up to this sensor. The end of that wire, bam, hooks up to this sensor, which this end hooks to this, where I feed that through. So to finish this intake, we got our MAF sensor plug. So this is our MAF sensor right here. Obviously we bolted it to the intake already. We're gonna plug one of these ends into here and then plug the other end into here. And then you're gonna wanna zip tie this out the way, maybe zip tie it to this or something like that. So go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna install the heat shield, and then we're done with the intake. All right, so plug the MAF sensor up. I tucked it behind this wire, or this harness. Here it is, plugged up. Like I said, I'm getting some heat sleeves, not heat sleeves, but like protective covers like this, 25 feet of it. So I'm gonna cover all this stuff up pretty much. But it's in there, it's bolted down. So now you have to put the heat shield, which is easy. We have to take this bracket off. These two nuts take this bracket off. And this literally just slips right into place. Just slip it down in there. And then those two holes go in those two holes. And then that bottom hole screws into that one right there. And you should have the bolt still from when you took out the old one. That's it, man. It's easy. Let me do that real quick. And that's it, fellas. Once you get those two bolts in, bolt that down there. There it is. Here's my extension. I taped it to this because I only have a couple zip ties left and I need them for the other side. But plus, once I get my sleeve, like I said, I'm gonna put some over there. I couldn't route that hose this way because of this heat shield, so I'm gonna have to route it a different way. I don't want to come up through here because I'm too close to the engine. So I'm probably gonna route it up this way, come up from there, tie it over here, and then feed it over there. So yeah, now you just want to put your shroud on, but I'm not going to do that yet because I'll do some other things. But here's the bottom of it. So I was going to gold wrap it. And here's the top. But I mainly wanted to do it because of the bottom. But yeah, then you'll just stuff that in there. It's going to be a super tight fit, man. But you'll stuff that in there and then bolt it back up and then boom, intake's done. So we got intake done. We got boost controller done. This is my zip tie. I'm gonna zip tie to this. I went through and made sure all my bolts are tightened. So I triple checked. This wire, remember I routed it up through the top. I decided to come back down the wastegate. So the wastegate hose is coming down now instead of going up over like I originally did. I gotta run this wire, I think up through this way is how I'm going to go. We getting there, fellas, we getting there. All right, so since I've done so much shit to the car, I'm gonna run through and triple check everything I've done on the car so far. Even the shit I did yesterday. It's always good to double, triple, fucking quadruple check that shit, man. So everything looks good, man. So now I'm gonna run this wire, or this hose. Well, the hose is ran, so I know that's good. So now we gotta start working on this boost gauge. Last thing I need to do is this gauge. Once I get that gauge done, that's it. I'm gonna load that map up, start the car, make sure it's all good. I'm gonna leave my undercarriage off so I can start the car, let it run for a little bit. I'm gonna see if I get any codes. Ron Watson says if you get any codes or check engine light, turn it off, send him or email him, let him know, and he'll fix the map, or he'll fix the base map. But we're gonna start the car, make sure it's all good. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the undercarriage and everything off. So while that's happening, I can check everything, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure I don't feel any air coming out of anything, especially down there by the turbo inlet bypass valve area. And yeah, we'll go from there. But to finish it off, let's finish this boost gauge. If you watched my AFR video, that pretty much shows you how to do it. So I'm going to do all that already right now. If you want to know how to do it, watch my airflow ratio video. I get into detail and it shows you how to do everything. The only thing different from that and this boost gauge is what I already just showed you, is your boost line that you have to hook up. Instead of going from here down to your J pipe for your O2 sensor, you're gonna go to where I already showed you for boost. That's the only different. Everything else is the exact same. So I'm gonna do this off camera so I can knock it out the way, and then I'll show you when I'm done. There it is. Gold tape this, put everything back. I went through and I triple checked everything. Flex fuel sensor, I zip tied everything. Made sure all my hoses were clamped in. Here's the boost. You seen where I routed it from the bottom. I came up, went over there. There's the sensor, the boost sensor. Got the gauge in. That's how it's routed down at the bottom. If you can see, nice and clean and tucked away. Then it goes up there. I fucked up. I was supposed to run this wire through the firewall first and then tap it into there. But I tapped it into there first and I couldn't go this way. So I just sent it, cut the fucking wire in half, then brought that in through the firewall and then just soldered the wires back together in the car. But now I'm ready to load the map. That your first cold start after loading that base map is going to be a pretty rough start. He also is going to have it idling around 900. So we can expect this to be a rough start. All right, moment of truth. Always the scariest part. check engine lights. Nice. So if you don't know, full bolt-on stage 3, EGR delete, TGV delete, the one piece, upper and lower, flex fuel, Grimmspeed intake, Grimmspeed Cat J pipe, Grimmspeed 3-port boost controller. Am I missing anything? Oh, front mount intercooler, Grimmspeed front mount intercooler. But yeah, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna send your mod list to Ron Watson. He's gonna send you a base map. Now, because I did delete my EGR, I have to burp my coolant before I take this car out. I also want to go check the engine to make sure I don't have any leaks and stuff. I do have a little bit of coolant probably on the engine from when I deleted my EGR. So it might smoke a little bit just to burn that off, but we'll see. So I basically want to check my fuel lines. No leak. No leak. The sensor down there. I don't see anything. Doesn't feel air. Nope. Deleted my EGR, so I'm gonna check these hoses. Yeah, I got coolant still there. That looks to be good. My other one is tucked under there. I don't see that leaking. We'll go under the car. My turbo inlet. This is boost. Middle boost. Wastegates on the right. Intake. I don't see anything leaking, anything dripping. I think we're good, fellas.